Good evening and welcome to the Faith Washington Show. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. I am a pharmacist who created multi-million-dollar pharmacy businesses for Fortune 100 and 500 companies in the course of my career. I became a VP of pharmacy operations for a national chain, and then I segued my current passion, which is business and life coaching for high-level executives. As a coach, I get to impact lives and create significance for other people who are entrepreneurs or executives looking to get out of corporate America. I'm also a certified strength and conditioning specialist as well as a certified personal trainer. And I'm also an author, and my latest book was published and became an Amazon bestseller in September of 2016. My newest endeavor is working as an executive producer for Facebook radio shows, and I'm going to say hello to my friends at AMP2TV. Tonight I have an amazing special guest, and his name is Mr. Louis David Spagnuolo, and it's such an honor to have him here tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks so much for coming on the show.
My pleasure.
And Louis has done everything under the sun. He has started from very humble beginnings and created an empire. He is the chairman of Illuminati Trust, LLC, which is a diversified monetization company with holdings across 37 industry verticals. He's also the CEO of Don't Look Media. He specializes in finance, technology, private aviation, insurance, and marine interests. He's principal of IDFexchange.com, the leading platform for ultra-high net worth investors, wealth managers, and hedge funds. He is also into aviation, and Louis established the premier portal for all things related to living the Uber lifestyle and is building the future of private aviation. Finance and acquisitions, he's worked with professional athletes, entertainers, national business leaders, heads of state, countless genuinely fantastic people. And he has shared in all the financial dreams of his clients to the tune of $884 million in deal participations. In marine, he designed Private Yacht Marketplace to create premier online destination for high net worth individuals to acquire and offer the world's finest private yachts as well as luxury services and unique items all in one place. Real estate, he's a licensed mortgage banker, a licensed real estate professional, licensed life and health insurance agent, as well as property and casualty. Technology, he's an expert in internet monetization, emphasizing asset acquisitions and all forms of intellectual property. He has appeared in more than 278 major publications, some of which are Forbes magazine, South Florida Business Journal, the Palm Beach Post, the Sun Sentinel, South Florida Business Leader magazine, Fox Business News, and the Associated Press. This is only the tip of the iceberg of what Louis David Spagnuolo has accomplished. It's a lot. It's a lot. It's amazing. Is there anything you'd like to say to the viewers tonight? Just something about your day.
Truthfully, I'm just grateful. I mean, we had a crazy day today. Just blessed to be able to have the opportunities that have been presented to me. Just grateful to be able to be here and to have the interview with you and hopefully inspire and encourage other people to overcompensate and overachieve their adversities that they're faced with, and let them know that they could achieve the same success that I've had and even more so.
Awesome. Well, I have some questions for you. Our focus is going to be on the entrepreneurial real-life examples, and for those people who are beginning their journey or those who are desirous of scaling their current business. So would you speak to an audience member who has a business that's doing $80,000 a year and they'd like to scale it to $5 million? What could you say to that person, and maybe give us some real life examples?
You know, it's funny, I get that question a lot. A lot of times people approach me and they're making a certain amount in salary, or their business is doing a certain amount, and they tell me that, hey, you know, I got to think big, and, you know, think big is important, and, you know, I have these great ideas, and, you know, I'm making $80,000 a year this year, but next year I want to make $5 million. And I'm like, wow, you know, $80,000 a year to $5 million, you know, that's pretty incredible. You'll probably be the first person on planet Earth ever to do that, you know. And what I try to tell people is, what's important is, it sounds good to think big, okay, but that's a fallacy. That's not real life. What's important is to think small and to dream big. Because if you think small, you're able to make accomplishments and you're able to climb up the steps. Because no one climbs on top of a mountain just in one step. It takes a lot of steps to go from base camp to the peak of Mount Everest. And when someone comes to me and they say, hey, I'm making $80,000 a year, next year I want to make $5 million, what I try to explain to them is I say, listen, if you're making 80,000, shoot for 200,000. Shoot for a realistic goal that you could achieve that is practical, that is feasible. And then once you get to 200, then you can say, hey, you know what, I did a good job, I reached this goal, I went to 200, I learned a lot, now I'm ready to take the next step and go to 500. And then once you get to 500, you get to $1 million. And then you gradually progress, because there's no get-rich-quick schemes.
I agree.
There's no way to go from making a certain amount to making an astronomical amount, because the business acumen that you need at 80,000 is dramatically different than what it is at 5 million. And to tell someone that they could believe into that false hope, I think is disingenuous. And a lot of times I see that online and with people talking to me and calling me and wanting some advice. And I try to tell them that there's nothing to be ashamed about with thinking small. It's okay to think small. America wants everything to be big and to be huge, but in business, it doesn't work that way. There's no shortcuts, there's no tricks. So when you think small, you're able to make progress. And if you make progress, you're like the little engine that could. And little by little, you start building up speed. And then before you know it, if you want that $5 million a year salary and that's your goal, you'll get there, but you just can't expect to get there in one step. And that's I think one of the biggest misnomers is everyone tries to push upon people to think big. So when you're starting your business, think big. Well, that's how a lot of businesses go out of business, because they're thinking too big. First perfect what you're doing. First, figure out what your synergies are, what your strategic partnerships could be, and how you could scale your business. Then once you have that, you could eventually start thinking, okay, instead of taking one step forward, maybe I could take 2 steps forward. Maybe I could take 3 steps forward. But to think all of a sudden, just by thinking big, there's some magical component that's going to come into your life and make you, this gigantic salary, is just a fallacy. And I think it's sad that a lot of that is preached upon young entrepreneurs, to get them conditioned to say, oh, I just graduated college, I should make $1 million a year. And it sets them up for failure, thinking big. So I tell people, think small and dream big. No one can control how much you want to dream, but think small so you could accomplish things instead of being disappointed and having setbacks.
Yeah, I do think that is so common right now, common in social media, and just the internet breeds that, and I do think it's very false, and very misleading. So you often say failure is not failure unless you quit. How could someone apply this to their small business and create massive success? And Lewis is going to use me as an example in this particular instance. It's very embarrassing, but
it's actually a great story.
It's a great story.
It really is.
It is.
And the best stories, I tell people, are the ones that are true. Because the stories that are made up, they're just not as compelling, and they're not able to engage people and touch people. But the stories that are real, people could relate to. And when we met, we were both excited. We both wanted to do it. I'm a big believer in lifting people up. I want to give someone a chance to do well in life and succeed. And I was really pumped up and really excited to do this interview. And I felt that you were as well. And then it was a great microcosm of what happens in business and in life when you hit a stumbling block. The first reaction of a person is to quit and to stop. And what happened with us was we had this all set up, we had the date set up, we had the schedules cleared, we were all ready to go, we were pumped up, and then something happened that there was kind of a curve in the road for you, and things got a little convoluted,
Right.
And you reached out to me and you said, hey, listen,
Can we
reschedule? This got messed up, that got messed up, and we can't do it because of these reasons. And I was really hard on you. And I was hard on you in a professional way.
He was brutally,
professionally
hard.
But I was brutal, but it was important because I felt that you needed it. And I felt that if I was brutally honest with you, it would help you and it would help lift you up. And as it turned out, I think it really worked pretty good.
It did.
I think it worked really good. But it was a great microcosm of a lot of times you'll have something planned and you'll plan it perfectly, and then there'll be a key component that's out of your control that will go sideways for whatever reason. And when that happens, I see a lot of people quit and they want to give up because they're like, well, you know, my photographer or my videographer or my audio person or this person, that person can't make it, so we can't do it. And I think that's the time that really separates the people that are the great achievers and the winners in life versus the people that feel sorry for themselves or say, you know what, it can't be done. And when I got the response back from you saying, you know what, I can't do it on that day, I was like, listen, we're gonna find a way to do it on that day, or I'm gonna make a point to publicly, you know, kind of embarrass you.
Humiliate me.
You know, not to be mean, but to say, hey, you know what, you can't give up. You know, once you hit the first roadblock in life, you can't just stop. You have to climb over that roadblock and keep going. And for me, I was so prepared that I had a plan B in place because I always knew something could happen. But then also I was like, wow, what a great opportunity this is. If she quits and gives up and doesn't do this interview with me, I'm gonna write a white paper on it. And I even had the title of it, and basically I titled it because we were getting ready to go meet Donald Trump and go to the inauguration for the president. And the title of it was gonna be, I'm having dinner with Donald Trump and you're not. And I wasn't saying that to be mean, you know, that wasn't the objective of it. The objective was, the reason why I'm having dinner with Donald Trump and you're not is because I'm not gonna give up and quit. If my car breaks down, if my plane breaks down, if my cameraman doesn't show up, that's not gonna matter to me because I'm gonna find a solution. And the only reason why I'm having dinner with Donald Trump is because I'm never gonna give up. I'm gonna keep pushing, I'm gonna be perseverant. Where there's people that are more educated than me, smarter than me, come from better families, better financial backgrounds, you know, have more things going for them, more talent, but they don't have that perseverance within them that when things get rough, that they step it up to another level. And then when I presented that to you, at first you went like to the left, you know, and that's what 99% of the people do. And I said, well, if you're gonna go to the left and you're gonna give up, then this isn't gonna be a good fit for us and we're not gonna do it, and it's better that it worked out this way. But then all of a sudden you digested that for a day or two, and then all of a sudden, like, you turned it on to another gear. Like, you shifted into second gear. You know, and I knew that, and I felt that happening, and I was really proud of that because, like, I saw you going to the left, and then all of a sudden you started scrambling, and you realized that, hey, you know what, maybe this is a hiccup, but I'm still gonna find a way to make this happen. And that was such a beautiful microcosm of really never giving up and being successful in business, that you have to push forward. And then before you know it, we have this, you know, 5-star production company in my townhouse here doing the interview, and we didn't even skip a beat, you know. But the beauty of it is, what happens when adversity strikes? Are you gonna give up and go sideways, or are you gonna say, you know what, I'm gonna find a way? And I think that's what more people need to understand and need to listen to, because there's always going to be complications. There's always going to be roadblocks. There's always going to be unexpected things. It's how you handle them is what makes you a champion, what makes you a winner, which makes you successful, which makes you sit and have dinner with Donald Trump versus someone that's never going to have dinner with Donald Trump. So that was one of the things that I was really proud of, that you're able to do that and scramble together and make this happen. So it was exciting.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm proud of myself. I'm proud of my friends who rallied around to help me out. But I remember reading that email and I was like,
You're probably mad at first, right?
No. I read it. I read it the first time and I was like, really? And then I read it the second time. I was like, I see what he's doing. And then I knew it, and I was like, okay, this is coaching me up.
Totally. Because I wanted you to succeed.
Yeah, don't fall down.
100%.
Just because
a little hiccup.
Yeah, something comes in your way.
You got to keep pressing. You got to keep pressing. Yeah, and it was really important that I saw you like rise up and overcome that. Like, I would have been so disappointed and heartbroken if you didn't. It really would have, on a personal level. And normally I never take business personal, but I was like, you know what? I have to figure out a way to motivate this person, to push the right buttons, to get this person to keep going. Even though she has an adversity, she has to find a way to get past it. And that I thought was spectacular. And that's why I said the whole thing about having dinner with Donald Trump. It wasn't to be mean or to put someone down.
I figured that out.
It was to lift someone up, you know, and luckily it worked. So
you're super active on social media. Especially LinkedIn. That's how I met you. And you are multifaceted with your posts. In doing this, people respond and want to pick your brain. Walk me through your thoughts and responses to this, please.
You know, every day I get requests for, you know, meet me for coffee, you know, let me take you to lunch, let me take you to dinner, you know, I want to sit down and I want to pick your brain. And I say no to all of them. And I would love to say yes to every single person. I mean, that would be ideal, but it's not, number one, possible. And number two, it wouldn't be doing the right thing for that person. It would actually be doing an injustice for them, because basically they wouldn't be learning the correct business acumen, where when you want something, you first have to make a deposit. You know, a lot of people don't understand that. When you go to the bank, you just can't walk in the bank and say, you know what, I want to withdraw $1 million today. You have to first make deposits. Once you make deposits, then you could ask for withdrawals. And what I tell people, I said, all right, you want to pick my brain? Well, that real estate's very expensive. That real estate's not for free. You know, we lease that real estate out for a very high per square foot amount.
Right.
You know, and the reason for that is it's very valuable. So if you want to take me to lunch or take me to dinner, you know, if I'm someone maybe that graduated college and I just got out of college and I couldn't afford a nice dinner, maybe that would impress me and motivate me to meet you. But I go to dinner every night, I go to lunch every day. That means nothing to me. What means something to me is, what value are you going to add to help me when I take the time out of my day to meet with you? Because I know I'm going to be able to help you. I know that going in, and you know that too, because you wouldn't be asking me if you didn't know that. And what I explain to people is, I say, listen, first make a deposit in someone's life and try to lift them up and help them in some way. And then once you're able to achieve that, then you could ask for your favor or pick someone's brain or ask for the withdrawal. And I think a lot of times that gets lost in business etiquette, where all people want to do is they want to just take. They want to be takers. They want to take information.
Agreed.
They want to take your time. They want to take your knowledge. They want to take your information. And that's great, but eventually you're going to hit a roadblock when you have that mentality. Versus, I always try to teach my guys, hey, if there's someone you want to do business with, make a deposit in them first.
Serve them.
You know, give
Find
them
something
something
to
that's
serve.
going to help them. Figure out what business they're in and refer a client to them. Figure out how you can help them achieve where they want to go. And then once you've been able to do that, say, hey, by the way, listen, you know, I hope this person really helped you. I hope you're able to, you know, cross the finish line with the assistance. You know, would you be kind enough maybe to spend a couple of minutes with me? Maybe I could take you to lunch and ask you a few questions. And the person's going to be like, yeah, you know, I'd love to go to lunch with you. You know, you came out of nowhere. I didn't know who you were. We didn't know each other. And you really helped me with this situation. I'm more than happy to reciprocate and help you back. And that's what I think is lacking today in business. And I think a lot of that's not taught in school. It's not taught in college.
Nope.
It's been lost through the years, you know, proper business etiquette, where today we live in a society where everything's on demand. People just want things now. So they think just because they could make a post on LinkedIn or social media that they could just ask something from me and then automatically receive it. And that's not the case, and that's the wrong way to be trained. The correct way is to try to lift each other up, whether it's business or personal, and then once you do that and you're a lifter, then you could ask for a withdrawal.
Okay, so explain what you call the hunter versus the trapper.
The hunter versus the trapper is an analogy that I came up with because I come across so many people in business that are proficient hunters. They're really good. I mean, they work so hard. You know, they could be working 20 years in the profession, 30 years in the profession. And, you know, I'll ask them, like, you know, what's your typical day like? And they're like, oh, you know, I get up like at 6 in the morning. You know, I take my kids to school. You know, I kiss my wife, you know, goodbye. I have breakfast at Starbucks with a prospect for work that I've been, you know, talking to for months on end. I then get to work at 10 o'clock and, you know, I talk to my assistant and I tell her all the things we need to do for the day, all the goals, and we get that all lined up and I get everything prepared. And then before you know it, it's noontime and I got to go to lunch with another prospect I'm trying to reel in that I've been working on for, you know, X amount of months. And I come back from lunch and it's 2 o'clock and I start hitting the phones and I start calling, you know, referral clients and, you know, partners and this, and I'm calling people and I'm dialing and I'm working and I'm hunting for that business because I need new business and I'm hunting nonstop. And then all of a sudden 5 o'clock comes around and I'm like, you know what? I got to go to that after hours networking event and I got to hunt for more business, you know? So I'm going to go to, you know, this restaurant and go to the bar and order some drinks for people and, you know, try to convince this person to do business with me, and I'm going to hunt for this and hunt for that. And then after that event, I'm going to go to this dinner where I know there's going to be some people there that may want my product or service, and I'm going to buy them some drinks and I'm going to try to hunt and get their business. And then before you know it, it's like 8:30 and I'm going to come home and I'm going to see my wife and my day of hunting's over. And they're guys that work really, really hard, and they do this every single day that they hunt for business, you know, morning, noon, and evening. They're out there constantly hunting. And, you know, that guy, you know, I take my hat off to him for the work ethic and for trying, but that guy is very foolish, and that guy's really what I call the sucker. And I feel that the smart guy is the guy that doesn't hunt. The guy that doesn't hunt is the guy that's the trapper. And what the trapper does is the trapper has a group of people that wake up at 6 in the morning for him. And what they do is they get all the traps set up and they drag all the traps into the forest. And they put the traps all around the forest getting ready to catch the deer. And the trapper, he's still at home sleeping. He's like taking it easy. You know, his kids went to school, his wife's, you know, going to meet her friends. And it's like 9 o'clock and he says, you know what, you know, I'll wake up about 9:30. And he gets up at about 9:30 and he checks his email. You know, everything's cool with his emails. He calls one of his buddies, say, hey, you know, let's meet at the golf course. We'll have some lunch. And, you know, we'll hang out, we'll talk about sports or whatever. And during this time, all his guys are setting the traps, and they come back around 11:30 and they say, yeah, boss, you know, we took care of everything. All the traps are out there. And he's like, okay, good deal. You know, I'm going to go to lunch with my buddy. And, you know, he gets his keys to his Ferrari and drives down the street and goes to the best restaurant and meets some of his buddies, and they're laughing and they're having, you know, Whispering Angel wine, and they're drinking and having a good time, and, you know, everything's great. And he comes back, you know, maybe like 2:30. He has like a long lunch, you know, 2.5 hour lunch. And before you know it, it's like 3 o'clock, and he's like, wow, what a great day. You know, let me call my wife, see how she's doing. And he calls the wife, and the wife's like, yeah, honey, you know, I'm shopping. I'm at Bal Harbor. I'm having a good time. So she's happy. She's good. You know, the son just came home from school, and he's going to, you know, lacrosse practice or whatever. So he's good. And then before you know it, it's 5 o'clock. And 5 o'clock comes, and he sees his team of guys, and they're pulling back like 6 deers they caught that day, all stuck in the traps. You know, one of them has the hoof in the trap, the other one has the arm in the trap, and they're pulling them back off. And they're like, boss, look how good we did. We got 6 deers today. We captured 6 of them. And he's like, wow, what a great job. You know, you guys did fantastic. Now put those deers in the barn, chop them up, and get them ready, and we'll sell all that stuff tomorrow. We'll be good to go. And then before you know it, he calls his wife. He's like, sweetheart, you know, meet me at, you know, so-and-so restaurant. We're going to have dinner. 6 o'clock, he has dinner with his wife. 7:30, they're done having dinner. He comes home, sits with his wife, puts on Netflix, watches a movie, and his day's over. And that's his day, and that's what you call a trapper. A trapper has a pretty good day. And the point is, the hunter wakes up every day, puts on his uniform, gets his shotgun, dresses really warm because it's freezing during the day. It's cold outside in the forest. And he goes in the forest and he's looking for that deer. And he's looking and he's looking. He's working as hard as he can. And he's making special noises and he's throwing special scents. And he's just working to try to find out where could this deer be in the forest, you know? And he's trying so hard to find this deer. And then finally he sees the deer. So he's all excited. He sees the deer. So he's like, all right, here's the deer. I got to get the deer. And he's all charged up and his blood pressure's pumping and everything's getting all excited. And he takes out his shotgun and he's looking at the deer and he shoots and he misses. And the deer runs away. And he doesn't capture the deer. And then before you know it, it's 5 o'clock. So what happens? He comes back in. He has his gun. He's all sweaty. He's all dirty from hunting the whole day. He has no deer, nothing to show for it. And he has to now come home and undress and shower and change. And the first thing his wife says is, so honey, how'd you do today? How many deers did you catch? No, I didn't catch any. No deers. And that's the hunter. You know, and you don't want to be the hunter in life. And I see people that are lawyers, that are accountants, that are selling products, and all they want to do is they want to hunt and hunt and hunt. And what I tell people is, I said, a bad system will always beat a great person. And people don't understand what I mean by that. And what I mean is, when you have a system for success, for aggregating new business, that system works 24 hours a day. That system works on holidays. It works at night. It works at Christmas. It works at New Year's. It works on the weekends. No person could ever beat a system. It's impossible because that system never gives up. It's just like a machine that's constantly going.
Constant wheel.
Constantly going. You have those traps all around the forest, and it's only a matter of time until those deer gets trapped in those traps that you're setting.
Share one aspect of you that no one would ever guess, that you've never shared before.
That I'd never shared before.
Yeah, I know your life's out there, but something personal, something wonderful. How about maybe introducing beautiful bride?
My wife's probably my greatest asset. She's probably the hardest of anybody on me.
Zuri, come. Can you come over?
Like, she rips me to shreds, don't get me wrong. She shreds me like there's no tomorrow.
Okay,
but she also uplifts me the most.
This is
and she inspires me the most.
And she is amazing. We've gotten to spend this afternoon with her. I want to tell you folks, wow, these two people are incredible. They're loving, they're kind, they're gracious. They've opened their home to us.
It's the beauty of the beast.
You guys are so funny. But so tell us.
Yeah, no, I'm grateful. I'm grateful for my wife. I'm grateful for my my stepson. I learned a lot from. I've been very fortunate in life, and I just feel that, one of the things that's important is you got to put out the right energy to get the right energy back. And for a lot of years, I was putting out the wrong energy for the wrong people
Give
that
me an
I was
example.
in relationships. A lot of times I was meeting, beautiful people, but they weren't the right people. They didn't have the right substance. They didn't have my best interest in mind. They didn't care about me as an individual. They didn't care about me when I was down, because when you're on top of the world, everybody loves you. There's nothing not to love when you have the best of everything. So the energy I was putting out there was attracting that person. And then when I started learning more about things and I attracted my wife, which was like a miracle, I learned a lot about what substance is, what it's like to be a man, what it's like to be a gentleman. No one ever taught me how to be a gentleman. When I was growing up, we grew up with a poor environment, that we didn't have etiquette skills. We didn't have someone teaching us how to, open a chair at a table for a lady, how to eat with a fork and knife, and how to be all diplomatic and classy and things like that. We never had that. And for me, being successful and being wealthy, I was able to kind of cheat my way through the system, because no one would ever dare say anything to me or challenge me, because they knew I had the money and I was the cash machine and I was that ATM machine. So I would be able to get away with anything. And then when I met my wife, she kind of put the kibosh on that pretty quickly.
And so how did she do that?
It wasn't pretty, man. I'll tell you. There's some stories I could tell you that I remember one time we went to dinner at we went to dinner here at the Icon. I forget the name of the restaurant. It was an Italian restaurant, and it was Cipriani's, exactly. Yeah, we went to Cipriani's, and we had this beautiful dinner, and the bill must have been like $1,000, and I'm buying the best wine and the best of everything and the whole deal.